Alright, bottom node. The adventurer lands. Permanent support. On your side, landfall white. Disable the first enabled opposing creature until the beginning of your next turn. Landfall blue. Drain 5 mana from your opponent's hand. Landfall black. The first opposing reinforced creature loses a reinforcement. Landfall red. Deal 2 damage to the first opposing creature. Landfall green. Create 3 insect tokens. And your opponent will get one of these 4 up top. Just like when you play the top node, this is what your opponent will have when you're playing up top. For objectives, we got win the fight against your opponent. Identity, match 24 or more gems of your planeswalker's colors during a single fight. Landscape, summon 3 or more land supports during a single fight. For decks, if you're a brand new player, I would run Nisa 1, the Origins Nisa, with something like this. With Migratory Greathorn, he's a 4/5 with Reach and Mutation. And when he gets mutated, he will fetch the first land support from your library and move that card to play under your control. So that will help with the objectives. Conclave Naturalist. When the support enters the battlefield, destroy 1 support gem your opponent controls. Reclaim the Waste. Kicker 4. Fetch the first card with land farming from your library. And then convert 7 gems to green. The kicker 4 is if you're draining 4 mana from your hand. Ram Through. Deal damage equal to the power of target creature you control to your opponent's first creature. If that creature has trample, excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. Colony Ambush. Your first creature fights target opposing creature. Landforming. Create a colony territory token, which is converting 2 gems to green. So if you use Reclaim the Waste and you kick it, this is what you're going to fetch. Gingerbread Cabin. At the beginning of your turn, convert 2 gems to green. When this support enters the board, if there are 8 or more green gems, create 2 food tokens. Branch Loft Pathway. At the beginning of your turn, convert 2 gems to green. Landforming, which is this card has an additional effect if you cast it after making a horizontal match with a swap. And that is create a Boulder Loft Pathway token, which is converting 2 gems to white. Oakham Adversary. This card costs 4 less while your opponent controls a green card. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to your opponent's planeswalker, draw a card. This is just to help with card draw. Kazandu Stomper. He's a 6/5 with trample, and he also has a kicker for draining 3 mana from your hand. When this creature enters the battlefield, shuffle the board. That's an absolute terrible mechanic. But what is important is the kicker 3. When you kick him, fetch the first card with land farming from your library. So that will also fetch a couple different cards. And then we have Gather the Pack for creature fetching. Move the next creature from your library to your hand. If there are 8 or more green gems on the board, move a second creature from your library to your hand. Destroy the next 4 creatures in your library. If you have a little bit better collection, I would run something like this with Garruk 2. Mythos of Nethroi. Destroy the opposing creature with the highest cost. Adamant green or white. Destroy the opposing support with the highest cost. And the adamant becomes active when you match 3 or more gems of the green or white gems. Great card for only 8 mana. Probably one of the best removals in Standard right now. Castle Lochwain. When this support enters the board, if there are 5 or less black gems, convert 4 gems to black. At the beginning of your turn, convert 2 gems to black. Activate 2 black, draw a card. It gains half of its mana, then lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. This is to just help with a little bit of card draw and get the things that we need. Witch's Cottage. At the beginning of your turn, convert 2 gems to black. When this support enters the board, if there are 8 or more black gems, pick one of the first 4 creature cards from your graveyard. Fetch that card. Hagra Mauling. While in your hand, if your opponent controls a land support, this card's cost is reduced by 3. Destroy target creature your opponent controls. Land Farming. Create a Hagra Brood Pit token, which is converting 3 gems to black. And then we have our board wipe with the Great Aurora. Destroy every creature and support on the battlefield. Sawtusk Demolisher. He is a 6/6 with trample with mutation. And when he mutates, he will destroy an opposing support. This effect can affect Vanguard supports. Then create a beast token under your opponent's control. Woodland Bellower. When this creature enters the battlefield, move the next green creature from your library to your hand. That creature gains 6 mana. Conclave Naturalist. When this creature enters the battlefield, destroy 1 support gem your opponent controls. Fleshbag Marauder. When this creature enters the battlefield, if you control at least 1 more creature, another creature you control is destroyed, and the first creature your opponent controls is destroyed. He's really just in here for anything that's hexproof. It will help with that. I mean, there's a couple other options we have for hexproof, but this is just kind of something else. Or if you're winning too quickly before the objectives are coming, then you can kill off one of your own creatures on top of that. And then we have Pyreka's Libation. Destroy an opposing enchantment support if you can't destroy the first opposing creature. And this is also a non-targeting creature destroyer. Unless they have an enchantment out, then it'll take care of the enchantment first. And if you just have every card at your disposal, I would run Tamiyo with something that looks like this. Urza, Lord High Artificer. When this creature enters the battlefield, create an Urza's Factory token. Which is, while this support is on the board, your first creature gets +X/+X and gains the artifact subtype. At the beginning of your turn, convert X gems to blue, where X is the support's shield count. Nylea Keen-Eyed. For creature fetching, as long as your devotion to green is 6 or more, your first creature gets +5/+6 and gains trample. At the end of your turn, fetch the first creature card from your library. Then each creature card in your hand gains 2 mana. Ruinous Ultimatum. Destroy each opposing creature and each opposing non-land support. This effect can affect Vanguard supports. Thassa, Deep Dwelling. As long as your devotion to blue is 6 or more, your first creature gets +6/+5 and gains unblockable. At the end of your turn, you may exile target creature you control. Then return it to the battlefield under your control. If you do, disable the last opposing creature until the beginning of your turn. Idyllic Tutor. Pick one of the first 4 different aura and or enchantment cards from your library. It gains half of its mana. Mythos of Snapdax. Destroy your creature with the lowest mana cost and the opposing creature with the greatest mana cost. Adamant Black or Red. Then destroy your non-land support with the lowest cost and the opposing non-land support with the greatest cost. This effect can affect Vanguards. Whirlwind of Thought. When you cast a non-creature card, draw a card. Then you gain 3 loyalty. This effect can trigger up to 4 times per turn. Staggering Insight. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink. That creature gains enchanted. When this creature deals combat damage to your opponent's planeswalker, draw a card. Glasspool Mimic. When this creature enters the battlefield, this creature's power and toughness becomes XY. X and Y are equal to another target creature's power and toughness. This is also a land forming card, which is create a Glasspool Shore token, which is converting 3 gems to blue. And finally, we've got Conclave Naturalist. When this support enters the battlefield, destroy 1 support gem your opponent controls. That's it for this event, guys. Hopefully this helps you out.